They say every story of creation hides a shadow, a truth so dark that even history tried to erase it. For centuries, the world believed the story of the devil was written in holy text. But what if that story was only half true? What if somewhere, buried beneath dust and centuries of silence, there existed a lost book that revealed the real origin of darkness itself? A book said to be written not by man, but by something far older. It began with an ordinary historian named Elijah Ward, a quiet researcher obsessed with ancient manuscripts. He wasn't searching for evil. He was searching for truth. Late one evening, while exploring an abandoned monastery deep in Eastern Europe, Elijah stumbled upon a small, fire-blackened chest sealed with wax and an inscription in an unknown language. Inside, he found pages bound in faded red leather, pages that seemed to hum as if whispering. The first line read, "Before the fall of man, there was another creation." At first, he dismissed it as a medieval myth. But as he translated further, the symbols on the page began to match ancient Sumerian and early Aramaic texts, records that predated the Bible by thousands of years. The book didn't describe Lucifer as a rebel angel. It spoke of him as the first light, created by God not to serve, but to balance. A being made from pure brilliance, who carried within him the seed of divine fire and something else, something God himself feared. The more Elijah read, the stranger things became. Electrical devices flickered when the book was near. His reflection in mirrors seemed delayed, almost like something was watching him back. Yet he couldn't stop. The book spoke of a moment before heaven and earth, when the Creator's perfect light split in two, one side forming order, the other chaos. And in that split, the first consciousness of defiance was born. But then came a warning, written in trembling ink. "The one who reads beyond this line shall awaken what was sealed." Elijah hesitated. He could feel his pulse echoing in his ears. The air around him turned cold. Outside, thunder rolled across a cloudless sky. Still, curiosity won. He turned the page, and that's when everything changed. A blinding flash consumed his candlelight. The ancient monastery trembled as if something beneath its stones had stirred after centuries of sleep. Elijah dropped the book and ran, but the final image burned into his mind. A figure drawn in fire, wings unfurled, eyes like molten gold, whispering his name. Was it only his imagination? Or had the lost book revealed something the world was never meant to remember? Because that night, the devil's true story began again. Elijah couldn't sleep that night. The storm outside had stopped, but the silence that followed was worse. The pages of the lost book still lay open on his desk, fluttering softly as if breathing. He tried to convince himself it was just old air trapped in the monastery's stone walls. Yet somewhere deep inside, he knew something had changed. His hands still trembled from what he saw, the faint outline of that fiery figure that had whispered his name. It wasn't a hallucination. Felt real. Too real. The next morning, Elijah took the book to his colleague, Dr. Miriam Hale, a linguist who specialized in forbidden texts. When she saw the faded red leather and the strange writing, her expression changed from curiosity to fear. She told him that such symbols were mentioned in lost Babylonian records, known to describe the language of the first dawn, a divine code said to connect the human soul to celestial beings. The more they translated, the more they realized this wasn't just mythology. The book described the creation of the devil not as a fall from grace but as an intentional act, an experiment by God himself to understand imperfection. But something about that theory disturbed Miriam deeply. She began noticing things too. The lights in her lab dimming, whispers when she was alone, reflections moving when she stood still. The conflict grew not just around the mystery of the book, but within them. Elijah wanted to reveal the truth to the world. Miriam wanted to destroy the book before it consumed them. Every night, the voice grew louder in Elijah's mind, calling him to keep reading. He couldn't stop, even when he knew it was changing him. Somewhere between the pages, it felt as if the devil's creation was beginning again. This time, through him days turned into nights, and Elijah's world slowly blurred into something unrecognizable. The more he read, the more the ancient words seemed to speak directly to him. He began to hear them even when the book was closed, soft murmurs in forgotten tongues that echoed through the quiet halls of his apartment. Miriam noticed his voice changing, his thoughts drifting to strange ideas about balance, creation, and destiny. He told her that the book wasn't evil, that it was misunderstood. "What if the devil was never meant to be the enemy?" he whispered. But the mirror we were afraid to face. Miriam's fear grew with every passing hour. She tried to take the book from him, but Elijah refused, clutching it as though it were part of him. He started writing symbols on the walls, symbols that matched those in the book. Each mark seemed to hum faintly under dim light. One evening, while studying the final untranslated pages, he discovered a passage written in human blood. It spoke of a second awakening, a moment when the one who truly understood the book would open a door between light and shadow. That night, the air around Elijah thickened with an unseen presence. The temperature dropped, the floor vibrated faintly, and the whispers turned into something almost like breathing. Miriam begged him to stop, but he only smiled, lost somewhere between fear and revelation. The room began to pulse with faint light as the pages of the book moved on their own, turning faster and faster until they stopped on a single phrase. Elijah's eyes widened as he translated it aloud. Outside, the wind howled as the lights exploded into darkness. A sound, low, ancient, and powerful, rumbled through the floor. And in that moment, Miriam realized Elijah wasn't reading anymore. Something else was reading through him,